Today, I'll be reading from the Daniel chapter 6, verse 10 through 16. Daniel chapter 6, verse 10 through 16. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree has been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows are open toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So they went to the king and spoke to him about his royal decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or man except to you, O king, would it be thrown into the lion's den? The king answered, the decree stands in accordance with the law of the Mede and Persian, which cannot be repealed. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. Then the man went to a group to the king and said to him, remember, O king, that according to the law of Medes and Persia, no decree or edict that the king issued can be changed. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, may your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you. Amen. Daniel is a book of Apocalypse. Apocalypse means it's story about the end. And how you can explain the end? I guess only through the picture-like story. So this story, a bit like a fairy tale, try to tell us, which cannot be explained in phenomenological way. It tried to express and explain the essence of the life, essence of all being, which cannot be seen, which cannot come out as a phenomena. So it's story telling us is somehow childlike story, telling us actually very simple, the truth. I guess we should know. I'll go into that soon. And first of all, Daniel, book of Daniel is divided into the first and second half. First half is about person Daniel. It's about individual person. Later part is about the human history. And I'll briefly go on to the human history part, 7 to 12. Then today I'll mainly focus upon the first part of the book. The 7 to 12 apocalyptic book, what they try to telling us is always simple, very simple. Because you come to the end, everything is simple. You come to end, you realize all those things you struggled, we engage into complication, all those things, suddenly become so simple. Nothing really matters. Actually come to be just one thing that matters. That one thing is, who am I? Who am I? The Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who probably first to find out NDE, near-death experience. After her, she, for the first time, she brought about 500 cases, people who died biologically, then come back to the life. And she interviewed all those about 500 people and published a very stunning the result of the survey. And afterwards, the NDE become world phenomena. Presently, we have over about 5 million people who died and come back to life. Some few minutes, some almost like more than 2 days, and in between those hours. Now we have more than 5 million people who medically registered that had an ND experience. And in her book, intriguing thing is when people got noticed that that our life is not long, maybe 3 months, maybe shorter than that, maybe 6 months. When they get noticed, terminated illness, and get noticed, she said, it's not disease, it's not the death coming soon. That doesn't deter people. What deters people is that they suddenly realize, who am I living all these years? Who am I? For the first time, they try to find out, who am I? When we realize that death is imminent, death is near, that's the first thing happened to the people. Who am I? So apocalyptic books, book of Revelation in the New Testament, mainly in the book of Daniel in the Old Testament, is really about the simple truth. Very simple. Thing is, in our life, we make our life very complicated. And thinking about what to wear, what color to match, and all those things just occupy our concerns. We feel like that's life. That's everything about life. You know, what kind of brand I might carry, and all those things. But suddenly, come to the naked truth of life. All those things really doesn't matter. Only thing matters is, who am I really? And so, Book of Apocalyptic presents very complicated pictures, but through those pictures, it really presents very simple message to us. In the Book of History part, kingdoms rise and fall, yet only God's kingdom is everlasting. I don't need to explain this, right? Human kingdoms are manipulating people by deceit and lies, never the truth. Do you think in the human history there is any government who are telling truth to the people? Were there? I don't think so. Even if there were, probably less than 1%. Maybe 세종대왕님 told the truth. I don't even know that, okay? And at the end, the lie and true will be separated. Here, when I say lie and true, I do not mean the ethical or legal terms. I mean, probably include that. But the main meaning of lie and truth is existential. Existential. Meaning that do I pretend, or do I really share who truly I am? And we know the world. In the world, we are from the beginning to the end, we are trained, we are immersed, we are baptized to live out the pretense. Pretense. And yesterday I had one counseling session, and her husband just suddenly died. Really nice person. They don't go to church, and he suddenly died. And she just psychologically, financially, so much depend upon her husband, and her husband suddenly died. I mean, she just literally broke down. Yet, every people she meets, every meeting she goes, private official, she used all her energy to show the people, I am okay. I'm okay. I mean, is she doing something wrong? No, of course not. That's life. But she's not doing the wrong thing. That's not the point. But just like her, we all wasting who I am. We never approve who I am. So we always present something better than I am, 멋있어 than I am. I guess 멋있어 is not English, isn't it? So at the end, the lie and truth separate. It's the existential meaning of it, right? So even we come to church, do we really share who I am? How many people knows my weakness, my pain, my sin that I try to cover up so hard? How many people? I mean, you don't have to ever advertise, but you have to have a people who could share. Because life, only way to life exist is just sharing, communicating. And Korean terms is 통한다. 통. In biblical term, koinonia. Without koinonia, there is no life. And of course, we have false koinonia. Come together, we try to impress other people, like me. Try to show you I know everything. The reason is because I don't know anything, right? Well, why you like so much? At the near the end, the persecution of saints will come highest. Yet those endure in faithfulness will receive the promised heir, even the glory. So it is a plain thing. When the final time comes, right before the separation of lie and truth, of course, lie, adding up so much, you try to cover up all those lies. We all have experience. Cover up the lie, you have to lie more. I am the only one who has that experience. We all know that, right? So near the end of time, lie piles up. What happened? Lie piles up. There are moments comes you can't lie anymore. Right? In the history, that's what exactly happens. That's what exactly happens. So God never destroy anything according to the book of Apocalypse. Book of Revelation, book of Daniel is the same thing. The lie is destroyed by itself because it's not true. When lie just destroys, destructed, then the truth just reveals. Not even reveals. It was there all the time. We didn't want to see it. We didn't want to accept it. We didn't want to recognize it. So apocalyptic literature and Daniel chapter 7 to 12 is telling the very simple truth that is at the end, lie and truth will be separated. Will be separated. I hope we are all to be the part of a truth, not lie. So I could tell you three things very simply. I could only live out who I am. I could only live out who I am. But from when we were young, we felt that we are not really accepted. So what we do is we pretend, right? But I could only live out who I am. I mean, I admire Abraham Lincoln, Gandhi, and 백범 선생님. I admire them so much, but I cannot live them out. They lived their life. I could only live out who I am. And that who I am is creation of God. That who I am is creation of God. So if I live out who I am, I will reveal the glory of God. So don't be deceived. Don't be oppressed by this world. No matter how you feel you are small, you are insignificant, you are not much, that's only our feeling. No matter how you feel you are so small, begin to live out your truth. Living out myself is a huge, immense thing, eternal thing. So if we try to live out who I am right now, we only begin with the very small things. Right? Somebody did something very rude to me. What do? You pretend it's okay. When you turn around, you 막 씹어. Today, I have very special English terminology. That's not living out who you are. If somebody did something rude to you, say, excuse me. I don't think I deserve that kind of response. Your action, your words made me very uncomfortable. I think you owe me an apology. Can you say that? That's living out who you are. In the opposite way, somebody did a very nice thing to me. Thank you. You just made me very happy. You know? Somebody come to me saying that, oh, you look very nice today. What the people says, you know? People say, 아무것도 아니에요. It's nothing. You say, thank you. You made me very happy. You made my day. Thank you very much. I hope God bless you too. Why do we have to hide even little tiny feelings? Then what else can be true in our life? And because of that, it's absurd the human games are possible. People who has infinite wealth, then there are majority of people who are suffering in hunger and the absence of the medication and disease. I mean, very absurd world, very tiny planet. And I mean, we don't need to go there. Even like in the families, one suffers. We don't really have a space to embrace that person because this human game gearing into us into the madness. I have to have more. Let's go to the chapter 1 to the 6. I'll go by each chapter. Chapter 1, the key chapter. Choice between the empire or God. Daniel has proclaimed himself as a man of God. While he could be a person of royal palace, he could be in the royal court, he could be, quote unquote, made success. I mean, he was chosen after all. I mean, how many persons can be chosen by the emperor of the empire? He was chosen among the few. Yet, he is bold enough to declare himself. He is not man of the empire, but he is man of God. How does he do that? With the very basic things, food. Food is very strange thing. Once you upgrade the food, then you have to upgrade everything according to that level. You eat good food, you have to dress good dress, you have to go to good church, you have to have a good pastor. Something is wrong here. And you have to have a good car, you have to have a good house. You don't live up by the daily bread. Having a feast is a good thing. But healthy life is living with the daily bread. If we could humble the food, we could humble our life. Just especially Koreans. We are crazy about food. Every time I visit Korea, every third house is 식당, restaurant. And when we proclaim that I'm of God, not of the empire, what we are really proclaiming is beyond the given. Yeah, I'm in the royal court. I will have best things. But the best things are only among the givens. Only among the givens I'll have the best. From God, I have far better things than among the givens. For example, given is like something. We have cars, $10,000 one, $20,000 one, $100,000 one. Yeah. Among the givens, what you have, that becomes a meaning of life. The value of life has nothing to do with the real value. And beyond the comfort. Of course, if you are in the man of a royal court, your life will be very comfortable. Not really, actually. You are under the immense anxiety. I mean, you could see, except Daniel or other people in the royal court, they are so anxious. Oh, what happened? Daniel goes ahead of us, in front of us. When we choose to be a person of God, we'll go beyond the givens. We will go beyond the comfort. Because we believe we are destined to go much more than what is given, much more than what is comfortable within the human games. Chapter 2. Chapter 2 through 5 is all showing the limit of empire. Chapter 2, you know the dreams of Nebuchadnezzar, and in dream, even the emperor have anxiety, and it's a depression, all those things. So limits of knowledge of the empire, that's chapter 2. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. It makes him very anxious, and no one can know, no one can understand. Not even wise men, enchanters, magicians, astrologers, and he brought every possible knowledge into him, but he doesn't know. Who knows it? Daniel. How Daniel knows it? When Daniel prays. Meaning, when Daniel accepts, recognizes, acknowledges the authority of God. When he acknowledges the authority of God, suddenly the simple truth of beyond the human history, beyond the human game, just reveals, because it's an obvious thing. Obvious thing. What is the truth? The empire will come more. But every empire has an end. But at the end, there is everlasting empire will come. Very simple thing. I mean, you ask a 4 or 5-year-old child who doesn't know the Bible, or ask them, they will know. Yes, human things will come continually. It gets better and better. It seems like it gets better. But all human things has end. All those things end. There is everlasting, eternal kingdom, which is from God, will come. That's chapter 2. Chapter 3, limit of the authority of the empire. Limit of authority. And the Nebuchadnezzar made a statue, and he published a decree that everyone has to bow down to the statue. But 3 friends rejected, refused to worship that statue. So what did they do? They threw 3 friends into the furnace, into the fire. But empire could not kill them. So storytelling shows us empire is not final authority. Remember that. While we are living in the flesh, it's so much important. What I am, who I am in this empire. But that is not final. The final authority is beyond the empire, which is God. We are here to answer the higher authority, not simply the human authority. So, chapter 1, 2, 3 is all about choice, all about choosing who I am, which authority I choose, which knowledge I choose, which identity I choose. Chapter 4 is choosing the place, my place. Chapter 4, limits of authenticity of the empire. The chapter 4 is story about tree. There is a tree in the middle of the land. It's the center, so large, strong, highest. Everything else depends on that tree, which is Nebuchadnezzar. Yet he himself was under manic anxiety, manic depression. So the human world cannot be authentic by itself. We are limited in every aspect of it. So, are we trying to be who I am by myself, by my power, by my ability, by my achievement, by my success? Or my place is in God? If I succeed in anything, I achieved anything good thing comes from me. It's a grace of God. I mean, it seems like I said a very mundane thing in the church, right? But that's the key of St. Paul. St. Paul, while writing the letter, he often declares what is really about his life. It continually coming. And all those moments, what he's saying is, I really lived a passionate life. I really endured the sufferings more than anyone else. I pursued, I ran all this really passionate, enthusiastic life. But it wasn't me. It wasn't me. The grace embraced me. And just in that grace, I was blooming up. Not my effort, not my ability. He's saying time and time, again and again. So chapter 4, showing us, can we be by ourselves? I build my kingdom to be honored, glorified by the people. Or my place always in God's will and God's providence and God's grace. So I'm just enjoying who I am, the location that I was sent into. Yet, somehow, the river of passion, river of life, flowing out of my life. And chapter 5, limit of pleasure of the empire. Finally, after all through all those things, what we are seeking is pleasure. We want to have pleasure in life. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. However, the pleasure of the empire, human pleasure, is certainly limited one. That at least we have to acknowledge. We have to know. Belshazzar hosts a great banquet for, I guess that's apostrophe S, it's not necessary. Belshazzar hosts a great banquet for 1,000 nobles. This is the best party. You bring up in the White House 1,000 most powerful people of today's world, and you are having the party. Amen. Human party can go beyond, can go more than that. Yet, God's word comes on the world and telling them, you have been waited and found lacking so you will be judged. Imperial party is not much. Actually, it's not much. What do? We go to party. First thing is we try to read out each other so I could impress others. Then hangover afterward all the time. Have you? I have no experience. So I'm just telling you this by only theoretical point of view. Hangover. And the worst of it is always below the level. Below the level. People dress nice. Good atmosphere. Good food. Why can't it be really good to each other? But secretly, we try to put down each other. Try to put me in an impressive position. Really below the level. It is fall short of standard. It is fall short of standard. Human is image of God. Human pleasure, human party should be more than that. Something like Book of Acts chapter 2, Book of Acts chapter 4. Something like Jesus and the tax collectors. Something like Jesus and the prostitute. Imagine when Jesus is with the prostitute, he is so himself. He's so at home. He's so comfortable to be who he is that people around him are invited to be themselves. Prostitute is, after all, precious human. But this world always put down, only see them as a prostitute. Never the nobility, the preciousness in their human being, humanness. For the first time, they feel like, I'm a human too. What a party. Church should be that kind of party. Church should be that kind of party. Church should be that kind of party. You don't want to, do you want to discriminate the prostitute? Is that what you want? No. Church should be that kind of party. Here, the human labels of the world really doesn't matter. Once you come into the church, not building, once you come into the fellowship of saints, we see the essence of each other, which is human, which is image of God. And you are so precious. Can you tell a person next to each other, you are so precious? Yeah. Answer it. Unlike Pastor Lee. And chapter 6, this is actually last chapter, but not the end of the sermon. Chapter 6 is life unlimited. You know, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, continually showing us the limits of human game, limits of human world, limits of human power. In the chapter 6, it comes life unlimited, beyond that. Beyond that. Daniel knew the decree which prohibits all other worship except worshiping king. Yet, he was constant. This is real power. He was constant. Circumstance doesn't change him. The situations, conditions doesn't deviate him. He just live out who he is, how he live, and is constant. And you know, when people come to me explaining their circumstance, I'm so 답답해. Many new English vocabulary coming to today's sermon. Really 답답해. I mean, the challenge is the circumstances are there for you to overcome. And you don't overcome just excusing, this is my circumstance. then who are you? You are the slave of the circumstance? Is that how you created? Of course not. In the world, we all live like that. But not in the church. Not in church. We could share, hey, I'm supposed to overcome this condition, but I failed again. But I'm going to try it again. Next time, I could overcome. Instead of excusing. Instead of making all those excuses. That's what he's supposed to proclaim. And this Daniel, I love, I envy. I wish I could be more and more like Daniel. No matter circumstances or what conditions are, I could just live out my truth, my faith, my conviction. So Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, and the result is very obvious. Daniel was well and at peace. Because what does it mean, being constant? Regardless of circumstance, you're being constant, meaning that you are living the resurrected faith. You are living the life beyond death. Each circumstance prevents you to live out who you really are. And ultimately, you are afraid of death. Afraid of dying of your comfort. Dying of our little world. And all those things. That's the essence of it. So, being constant, meaning you are piece by piece living out the life that is beyond death. And that's the final conclusion of who Daniel is. And we, personal people of New Testament, who has resurrected faith, when we believe in resurrection, that's all about it. Regardless of circumstances, I am being constant. No, not in our way, okay? So you want me to end here. Okay, we go into the final section of the sermon, which is lessons. And I have 4 things. The first, the person who I am created to be, has a potentiality to go beyond givens of the empire, fear of the death. I explained everything already. Number 2, my choosing decide who I become to be. Always remember that. In the circumstances, in the reality, how I choose to live out is making up who I am going to be. So all this life is given to me to create who I am. I hope we create better who I am. For myself, not anything else, for myself. When I feel proud of who I am, that's content. That's satisfaction. That's happy. Then we wouldn't have facial expression like this. Number 3, every moment, pray that I could be mature, okay? Number 3, every moment of life is we are always choosing, remember that. We are choosing not to choose. We throw to choose. That's our choice. So there is no moment I don't choose. We are choosing and we are choosing not to choose. I'm going to choose better I am. Not worse I am, better I am. I will choose my truth. Because our truth is so beautiful. We all want to be so beautiful. We all want to be pure and holy and truly glorious. That's what we really want with life of God. Number 4, my choice activate potentiality of the side that I have chosen. What I mean is, when I proclaim to be the person of God, God's side potentiality begin to be activated. That's the key. If I choose to be the person of the world side potentiality begin to be activated in my life. More dissatisfaction, more curse, more thirst comes in. If I choose to be God's person, each time I choose, it multiplies. That's why Jesus says, 100 times folds, 60 times, 30 times. It just multiplies. More and more, it unlocking the possibility of the kingdom of God. I choose to be man of God. Help me, God. I choose to be man of love. I choose to be man of blessing, not judgment and curse, no matter what. And so we are. That's why we are here. God bless you. Be a glorious person in the grace of the Lord. Let's pray.